Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Today we are creating this super simple summer easy everyday look. I am using one of the new Charlotte Tilbury Look and a Love palettes, Instant Look and a Love palette. I'm so excited about this palette. I actually picked this up and I traveled with this recently to Costa Rica. So I've used this palette many times already, but this is the first time that I'm using it on camera, and I'm really excited to share this palette with you because I really love it. It has 3 shadows, but then it also has bronzer, face highlight, cheek, and a face powder. So it truly is like the ideal travel palette, because not only are you getting shadows to create just kind of a basic, simple, everyday look, but you're also eliminating the need to pack bronzer, blush, face powder. And I will say that even though this is a bronzer and this is a face highlight color, I'll use these on the eyes as well. And I use them in today's video so you can see how I use them and how I like to pair them. And this video is in partnership with Nordstrom, so I want to thank them for sponsoring this video. All the products that I'm using in today's video are available on nordstrom.com. I'll have them, of course, all listed and linked in the description box below. I know I say this in every single video, but it is true. Nordstrom, hands down, is one of my favorite places to shop because of their customer service first. I love shopping at Nordstrom, especially in this year of more online ordering. I have a lot of peace of mind knowing that if I order something from Nordstrom and it doesn't work out, there is no questions asked. I can exchange it, return it, easy, hassle-free. And I love that because it gives me a lot of peace of mind and a lot of confidence when shopping online, especially for makeup. And I feel like this year has been a shift for us makeup shoppers and lovers because we haven't been able to go in store and swatch and test and play with makeup. You know, if you shop in store, you know, things are covered. There's just been this they've kind of removed that element of what makes makeup shopping fun. So when you shop online, you can feel confident that if something doesn't work out for you on Nordstrom.com, you are able to exchange it and return it hassle-free. And they've got, you know, all the great brands that you'd find at other retailers. I'm going to be using mostly Charlotte Tilbury in this video, but I am also using some other products from NARS, Dior, Trish McEvoy, kind of some of my favorites. So thank you, Nordstrom, for sponsoring this video, and let's get started. So I'm actually going to start by mixing the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter and the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Foundation together. I don't really want a ton of coverage, and I find that the Magic Foundation gives me a good amount of coverage. So I'm just going to do not even a full pump. I would say about half a pump of the Magic Foundation. I'm going to mix a little bit of the Flawless Filter into it. This product is such a beautiful product. It's so versatile. You can use this in a lot of different ways. You can apply this on the skin before applying foundation, and it's going to give you a very subtle glow because you're going to have your foundation on top of it. So it's going to be kind of glowing from within. You can also apply it over your foundation if you want a bit more of an intense highlight, or you can mix it with your foundation like I'm about to do. I'm actually just going to take my finger and kind of mix the two together. Then I'm going to use my finger to apply it, and I'm going to blend it out with a brush. I do have a little bit of a tinted moisturizer on right now, and my skin is in a pretty good place, so I don't really feel like I need a whole lot of coverage. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of this. I like to kind of spread it with my finger first. If I weren't using the Flawless Filter and I was just using the foundation, I would probably go directly from my hand, my brush, to my face. But because I want those two products to blend and mix well together, I use my finger. I love this foundation. It's been a while since I've used it, but I really enjoy it. It's got great coverage. I wouldn't really call it a full coverage foundation. I call it more of a medium buildable foundation, but it's about as full as I want or need. It has a pretty natural skin-like finish. It's not going to be radiant, but it's also not matte either and flat. It's really nice and pretty, and it's very long wearing. So I like to always start in the center of my face because that is where I have the most discoloration, pigmentation, areas that I need to cover. And then I'll blend out. The first place that you put product or your brush is where you're gonna deposit the most product. So if you think about it, if you have more, you know, acne or discoloration, pigmentation, redness, anything you want more coverage from, you wanna start there. Because if you start in the perimeter of your face, then you're gonna end up with more product out here than you need and not enough where you need it. So always start where you need the most. Oh, I feel like I could fall asleep. I don't know why today I'm so tired. I know why, actually. Today's the first day back since we've gotten back from vacation that I'm into the routine. The kids had school this morning, so I had to get up at 6 o'clock, and I haven't had to get up for that in, you know, a good solid, 8 or 10 days. So I'm a little rusty this morning. All right, so I've got my first layer on. I'm gonna add a tiny bit more in the center, and all I needed was that half a pump. That's pretty impressive. I didn't even do a whole pump of it. Perfect. Yes, I love this foundation. I love when I pull out a foundation or a product that I haven't used in a while that I remember loving, and I use it and then I'm like, oh yes, like why did I stop using this, you know? Next I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna use the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. I have the shade Custard, and I'm gonna apply a little bit of this inner corner under my eye and kind of just spread it about there, and then I'm gonna go out and blend it out with a sponge. I'm also gonna take a little bit up here to kind of lift. I've been seeing this technique and I really like it. Makes a lot of sense. Okay, I've got my beauty sponge. I'm just gonna go in and blend this in with the tip. I love the color of this. It's like got some yellow to it, but not too much. So it does a great job of concealing, but also really highlighting and brightening. So next we're gonna go in and set everything, and I'm gonna use the face powder that comes in the Charlotte Tilbury palette. And I'm going to softly set under the eyes, center of the face, nose, basically where I produce the most shine. I don't really get shiny under my eyes, but I do like to set under there because I don't want any creasing. Also, one thing to consider if you use a creamy eye pencil or a lot of mascara on your lower lashes, a lot of people will say like my eyeliner smudges or my mascara smudges throughout the day. Sometimes it's because you haven't set your concealer and your concealer gets creamy throughout the day and heats up when your skin heats up. And so that will kind of mix with the eye makeup that you have and break it down. So sometimes it's just setting with a little face powder can be the solution. I'm gonna set here on my forehead, around my nose. I love this face powder. It is one of the best formulas, I think. Okay, next I'm gonna go and I'm gonna warm up the face, and I'm using the bronzer from the palette. That's what I love about this palette is it has really everything you need. We went to Costa Rica last week, and this was all that I packed, and it really was all that I needed. Oh, I love this bronzer. It's so silky. It's just the right amount of pigment without being too much. It's so pretty. Put this hair behind the ears. I got my hair cut on Saturday, and I cut like bangs. I mean, they're long bangs, but you would think that I would put more thought into how I wanted a haircut, but I literally show up to my hairstylist some days, and before I like sit in her chair, I'm like, what do I want to do? Do I want to go short? Do I want to do bangs? Obviously I don't change it up too much, but this time she was laughing because I was getting shampooed, and I was like, should I do bangs? And she looked at me, and she knows me really well. That's why I love her, is because she'll talk me out of things that she knows I'm not gonna love. And she's like, are you gonna want to have bangs in your forehead? Because every time we've ever like played with that, I'm always like trying to brush them to the side. And I said, well, let's just do long, curtain bangs. We'll kind of ease our way into that. And she texts me like the next morning, she's like, how are your bangs? I'm like, well, I'm kind of styling them like I did before. Okay, and I'm gonna dust a little bit on my nose. I love this bronzer, it's so pretty. So for brows, I'm using the Kevyn Aucoin brow pencil. This has been my go-to brow pencil since I discovered it. What was this, last year? It's so nice. It's like a kind of a fine tip, so you really can get precision with it. Oh, that's not good. There we go. I'm trying to let my brows grow out. I've been using a brow serum for the last maybe 2 weeks on my brows, and I'm hoping that they come in. Oh, I love that. So nice. Look at the difference what brows make. Brows are so important. If there is like 2 things that I can't leave the house without, I would say it's a mascara and brows. I could leave without concealer, I could leave without anything else, but brows and mascara, I feel like just wake you up, or wake me up at least, because I haven't met much of either. Okay, perfect. So now that I've got my shape in, I'm gonna use a brow gel just to kind of give them a little more volume so they don't look so harsh or drawn in. I like a little bit of a softer look. I am gonna prep and prime the eyes by using the Trish McEvoy eye primer. And I'm just gonna use a little bit of this since I did put a little concealer already. I'm gonna blend it out with my ring finger. So in this palette, you get 3 shades for eyes. You get this kind of shimmery topper shade here. You get this eye enhance shade, which is a nice, like pretty kind of satin taupey shade. And then you've got this matte deeper brown to create some dimension or line the eyes. You also have a bronzer here, which we've already used. Then you have this face highlight, which I've actually been using as an eyeshadow. You've got this beautiful cheek color, and then you have a face powder. So I'm gonna go in first. I'm gonna create some dimension in my crease, and I'm actually going to use the bronzer to do that. This bronzer works as a great transition shade if you are my shade or a little lighter. The matte brown shadow that comes in the palette is beautiful and it works great for my skin tone, but I do feel like it's a little too dark for that first transition shade. But the bronzer is a perfect option. I mean, look at that. It is like the perfect transition color. So now that I've got that base down, I'm going to go in, I'm going to use the Eye Smoke color. It's this shade right here. It's called Smoke, but honestly, to me, it's a lot lighter than like a smoky shade. But I'm going to take that and I'm going to apply that on the outer corner, and then I'm going to work my way over so that it kind of meets the middle of my eyelid. What I love about her shadows is they're very easy to work with. They're very buildable. So you do have a good amount of pigment, but you don't go on with too much pigment right off the bat, which can be hard to blend out, or they can be, you know, not so friendly on all eyelids. I like that you can really go in and build. They're very silky. They blend out easily. So next I'm going to go in with this shade right here. It's actually the face highlight shade. We're going to put that in the inner corner of the eye. And I'm really just going to place that right in the inner corner. And then I'm going to bring it down on the lower inner corner to highlight the inner corner down there. It's almost creating this like illusion of light right there. Really opens and brightens the eye. So pretty. Then I'm going to go in with the middle shade here, and we're going to apply that basically between the lightest and the darkest shades. Then last, I'm going to take my pinky finger and I'm going to take this topper shade right here, and we're just going to apply that right in the center of the lid. Okay, I am going to line my lower lash line. I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Color Chameleon Eye Pencil in the shade Amber Haze. This has to be like my favorite color of eyeliner. It's this really beautiful bronzy amber shade. It's so nice. It's a pretty chubby pencil, so you're gonna get a thicker line, but because it has some shimmer to it, it doesn't look really harsh. And I'm gonna smoke this out with a little bit of shadow. So beautiful. I love this pencil. It is so, so nice. So I'm going to take a smudge brush, brush shaped about this size. This is the BK Beauty 204. And I'm going to go in, and I'm actually going to use the middle shade. I'm not going to use the darker shade. I'm going to use the middle shade, and we're just going to kind of lightly run it over the liner. And I am creating a pretty like smoky line all the way from the inner corner to the outer corner. When I'm working with like shades that have some shimmer or more of a bronze look and not so matte or dark, I will take my liner from outer to inner corner. If it's a really dark or matte pencil, I won't take it all the way to inner corner because it really kind of is a little too harsh on my eye shape and it'll make my eyes look a little smaller. So pretty. Okay, last I'm gonna take my Amber Haze pencil and I'm gonna run it on my upper waterline here and kind of work it into the lashes. And I'm just gonna run it on the outer half here. I'm really getting it to look a little messy. I'm kind of getting it into my lashes. I just want a little depth on the lashes, but I don't want to use black liner. Do you see what that does? It just gave a very subtle, you know, richness at the lashes without looking too harsh or black. Because I really want this look to be, you know, soft and neutral yet defined. Does that make sense? I didn't want anything too harsh on the eyes, but I also didn't want them to be too soft and natural. Next, I'm going to curl my lashes, apply lash primer and mascara. Okay, so this next step is going to be my favorite of the whole application. This blush color, the blush in this palette, is so beautiful. It is the perfect shade of this warm peachy pink. It has just the right amount of shimmer to it without like magnifying texture or pores on the cheeks. It is stunning. I like to use a smaller cheek brush to apply it just because, you know, the pan is a little bit smaller, and if I use a larger powder brush or blush brush, sometimes I'll pick up some bronzer or face powder. And I'm just gonna kind of apply it on the apples of my cheeks, sweep back and up a little bit. Oh, I love it. Do you see how it just gives a very subtle highlight, a little bit of a sheen, but not too much? It is so pretty. It really, really lights up the face. Gorgeous, love it. Okay, last we're gonna finish off with lips, and I did pick up one of the new Charlotte Tilbury Matte Revolution lipsticks. This is the shade Mrs. Kisses, and I have to say the packaging of this is so gorgeous. I have applied it, even though it's still in the box. I applied it and then I put it back in the box for some reason, but it's such a beautiful, beautiful product. This is what the color looks like. There we go. I'm kind of show you what it swatches like on my hand. Very pretty. So this has a lot of pigment and it's matte and it has a nice tip to the lip. So I'm actually not gonna line my lips. So this is what the lipstick looks like on its own. I'm gonna go and soften it a bit and add some gloss just because, you know, the eyes are very light and summery and I want the lips to kind of pair well with it. But I do think that this look alone right here would be great for evening because it is more of a, not necessarily a bold lip, but it's a strong lip for the eyes. I'm gonna go in and gloss it up and soften it. I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk lip gloss. And this is the finished look. I really love the way that it came out. The only thing that I added off camera was a little bit of the face highlight shade underneath my brow as my brow highlight. Even though it has a shimmer to it, if you use a fluffy brush, you can apply it in a very soft way so that you don't get too much shimmer underneath the brow, because you guys know I'm not a huge fan of that. But I really love the way this look came out. It's very soft, very neutral, very easy. It's a great everyday palette. It's a great travel palette. You know, because it is a full face palette and you're getting bronzer, blush, powder, all of that, you're not gonna get a whole lot of variety in the eye shades, but I do think that they picked a good pairing of shadows here that allows you to create an easy everyday look. You're not gonna get a whole lot of like, you know, different types of looks on the eyes from this palette, but I do feel like you get everything you need to make a complete look, if that makes sense. And again, for me, it's using the bronzer and the transition shade, and it's using the face highlight as an eyeshadow as well, because I feel like if you took those two away and I just looked at the shadows, you could create a full look from that, but I still feel like I'd be lacking that transition shade and that brow bone highlight, but I get them with these. So I'm a huge fan of this palette. I really love it. I got a lot of use out of this when I traveled recently, and I plan to kind of make this my go-to travel palette moving forward, especially if I'm packing for a trip that I don't really want, you know, to bring, I mean, it's larger than some of my mini eyeshadow palettes, but keep in mind, you're getting a face powder, you're getting a bronzer, and you're getting a blush. So that eliminates having to pack those products as well. Really, really, really love this palette. Highly recommend it. I got the lighter version, but also comes in a little bit of a deeper version as well, which I'll link that one for you as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm loving my makeup today. I'm ready for the day. I'm actually about to go into the office today, and it's the first time that I've seen everyone in like 10 days, so I'm super excited about that. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.